I've been calling it Jeep porn forever. And I always wanted to take out a PlayStation, like Asteroids or something, and put it out there on the moon rocks and sit back and play it in the middle of the night. Yeah, my name is Mike Erickson. I'm a biologist. I always like to say I'm a biologist. That's not always the job I've had, but I've had many years as a biologist with Fish and Game in Alaska. Bought myself 2018 JL Rubicon. Because in 18 they made both the JK and the JL. Waited a long time to save up enough money to go ahead and get that. It's a lot of fun. 4-door, wife gets in and out. I just put those rock slide engineering on. Really easy to get in the Jeep, but it's a little hard to get out of the Jeep because you're not used to having that bar down there, but we're loving it. It's my adventure machine. I feel like I've won the lottery. I mean, I've had wonderful friends throughout my life. My dad, my mom, and my stepmom have been absolutely awesome. My dad and his brothers and my grandpa back in just after World War II, I want to say 1957, right in there, they came off the ranch in South Dakota and set up an implement company in Belle Fourche, South Dakota. So if anybody knows where Belle Fourche is, it used to be right by the railroad, right where the BLM office is now, the new BLM office. Anyways, they sold Willys as part of the implements that they sold. So Jeeps have been around forever. Dad was a mining engineer and discovered uranium in Wyoming and did all kinds of off-road type stuff. That's where it started in the family. I was lucky enough a couple of years ago to pick up a 1957 CJ2A, and it's in pristine condition. As a matter of fact, it was being rebuilt by a NASA engineer when he unfortunately passed, and we bought it from him for like $2,000. You know those barn finds that everybody talks about? You know, we found it in a barn, and oh yeah, this thing it needs a paint job, and I need brakes. It was running great. I can't wait to retire and actually finish that project. So instead of working on the Willys right now, I've been working on my JL. Just put the lift on it and getting it ready to go. But you always ask questions about what was my favorite Jeep trip. I've had so many fantastic trips. I got bears, Alaska, and Jeeping.
Oh my!
Of course, fishing and hunting was part of it, but those are like the three major things I love to talk about. I could spend hours talking about just Alaska, where to go and what to see. My mom got a CJ4, and there were pictures of it. It had pink and white soft top. It was pink, and I don't remember it either, but Mom had it for a long time and loved it. She really did, and she bought the truck, but she loved that Jeep for a while. And one winter I said, by God, I need to go buy a Jeep. And I went out and got one, the square headlights and all. I hated the square headlights, but I loved it. 4-banger, soft top in Alaska. Good thing they have a nice heater because it's cold in Alaska in the wintertime. But I had that for like 4 years before I blew out the engine. Anyways, I loved it. It was great. Went moose hunting in it, got a permit to hunt Fort Rich, which is really hard to come by. And we did that in the Jeep. It was amazing. I got a moose too that fed us all winter long. But that little Jeep, that's where I had the best four-wheeling trip of my life. It was better than going out to the Black Rock Desert or Fish Lake. All these other trips I've done, like in North Dakota with the cliffhangers, through close to the north unit of the Roosevelt National Park. Just tremendous. Petrified forest to go through. Great driving, and it's dirt. So when you make mistakes, there's scratches. I mean, you could roll it. And I put it on the side the first time I tried with my wife. Scared the dog, scared her, all that sort of stuff. But it's a much safer place to learn, to understand what you can do with your Jeep, and that's what we were doing. But the best trip in the world was after a long summer with the Fish and Game, doing all kinds of wonderful adventure stuff that I love to be able to do. Came home, took a shower. When I say come home, that's like a 3-hour plane trip to get back into Anchorage International Airport and then get to home. Took a shower, changed my clothes, went out. The Jeep started right up, drove over to my dad's house, and I picked up my little sister and took her out for ice cream. That was the best trip in the world. No 4-wheel drive. You didn't need a lift kit. You didn't need special tires or anything. All you needed, was to spend time with your little sister and be a hero. And that's what it was all about. And ever since then, the Jeep has just been fun times. It's been great taking people out, meeting new people. Like I say, Jeep trips make friendships, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Jeep trips make friendships, what I always said. I've been calling it Jeep porn forever. So I used to live out in Palmer, Alaska. I lived right on the river basically, and I could jump in my Jeep after work, 150 yards, and I'm on the glacier riverbed going up to the Knik River Glacier, which is like one of the shortest rivers in the world. Huge glacier back up there, incredible country, grizzly bears, moose, fantastic four-wheeling. But there was something I didn't realize. The first thing you do when you go on a trip is you think about it. Use your brain. Don't get too excited because you're going to make some mistakes and they can be costly, especially when just barely eking by on your budget, right? And one of the mistakes I made, going out early morning when it was still cold and crisp, all the little creeks that are running into the river and sand crossings and stuff were fairly shallow. Matter of fact, they were very shallow. Some of the salmon you could be swimming up there, wait till they go by. Well, you know what happens in sunshine on glaciers? They melt. And when they start to melt more, or the snowpack starts to melt, the river go up and the creeks go up. I was the last creek before I got home. It's not up to the axles generally, right? It's you walk a creek before you cross a creek. And the highest I've ever seen it is less than knee deep. Well, we were coming back and when we went up there, it was literally just over ankle deep. That water had washed out, because the sandy bottom washed out a big hole. And I hit that hole and I had my window down and I went boom, and the wave came right over and filled up the cab. I had enough momentum to get it up on the other side and dry, so nobody had to pull me out of the creek, but I'm sitting in glacier cold water. It was horrible. My buddies had saw that and they went crossing slow. They couldn't help me because they were laughing so hard. They were just falling over. And I looked at them with big saucer eyes, the engine turned off. I'm going, oh no, I hope I didn't ruin it. And I opened up the door and all the cassette tapes and garbage just flowed out of the Jeep, the air filter, and it was like an accordion. It was really loud and wet. Well, we just towed it back in, dried it out, changed the oil, changed the fluids and and it ran great.